What do we have for Leo? The Fool at the foundation of the reading in reverse, Leo. Leo, the download I got for you was that God watched them through your eyes do what they did to you. And this is exactly what this Fool at the foundation is picking up on. Because this Fool in reverse, it's really talking about somebody else's reckless behavior towards you. This person, I feel, has been living their life out of alignment with their soul's path and mission. And I feel that you were sent into this individual's life, Leo, to create some kind of exposure or put a spotlight on this person and their behavior. I feel that what's going on inside this individual's life right now is interesting. It's as if they're exposing themselves without you even having to do anything. I'm getting something surrounding this person's communication. It's as if the divine is forcing them to speak up, right? It's almost an energy of they can't control their speech. They're telling on themselves left and right. This is all a part of their karma. It's as if they're dribbling out confessions. It's almost like a speak up spell. I'm just picturing somebody in my mind's eye right now confessing to something they did to somebody and then immediately covering their mouth like, oh my God, why did I say that? Now, this is just really speaking about the energy that's surrounding this individual. It could be that their behavior is really exposing who they are. And it also could be you, Leo, you just being on a new path and building a new life for yourself and people seeing you in a different light, or you perceiving yourself in a different light and the world around you. You know, this is really interesting when this happens because this is confirmation that it was never you. It was always the energies that surrounded you. But it's a deep form of psychological manipulation and gaslighting that narcissists will use to try and control you and your mind. You've been the subject of deep forms of mind control, and at the time, you just didn't even know it, right? This is really to be said for anybody because what we're starting to realize now is this mass awakening is taking place, is that a lot of us were living a kind of nightmare. We just thought that that's how life was. We didn't think that there was anything else or anything better. We just figured that, oh, well, that's our lot in life. That's the path that the divine chose for us, right? But now we're starting to understand that this is definitely not the case at all. I also feel that whoever this is that I'm picking up for you, Leo, they were not prepared for this. They didn't even see this coming. They were so arrogant with their attempts towards you to keep you in a place of spiritual bondage that they didn't stop to notice what was creeping up behind them. And Leo, I'm getting this sensation on my left ear. It's almost as if somebody is standing behind me, tickling my left ear with a feather, right? And it's kind of funny because I'm thinking about this person for you, Leo. It's like the divine has crept up behind them without them even noticing, and the divine is just tickling them on the ear with a little feather like, turn around, we're here, right? Oh. Terrifying if you're on the wrong side of this. But for you, Leo, it's obviously karmic retribution for what you've been put through. This is something that was all a part of your path, your mission. You were the one that was sent here to expose this individual, these people, whatever the situation is. And I think you're starting to understand this now. It's almost like you were sent in undercover from the divine to expose this demon. What do we have, the sacred, please? Two of Wands, Aries energy at the sacral. And I feel that this is the energy that you're in now, Leo. You see, as I'm sure a lot of you know, or well, it could really just depend on what part of this timeline you're on. Some of you are just now going through this. Some of you are already removed from this energy, but wherever you are on the timeline, this message will resonate for everybody who's going through something similar. But it's as if there's these certain phases that we have to go through. We disconnect from the energy as we move on. The divine puts us in a kind of safe territory so we can go through upgrades and healing and all of the spiritual bondage is then removed from us. This can take time, just really depending on what it is you've dealt with. I've seen some people start their healing and step into a new timeline, within 6 months. Others, it can take a few years. It really just depends how deep it was and how willing you are to put in the work towards your healing in the here and now. But always, at the end of the day, it just comes down to you, right? And how much you decide to be proactive in that space of healing. But whatever the case, Leo, I'm picking up this energy here where you're finally in a space where you're actually able to put together some sort of solid plan for your future. You finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're starting to compartmentalize everything that's happened to you up until this point, and everything is starting to sort of crystallize. Everything is starting to make enough sense to where you can put a smile back on your face and continue pushing forward on your path. And in this Two of Wands, right, you've got the world in the palm of your hand, which is really just speaking about everything I just said. But then there's that trickster back there, right? He's just sitting there. He can't trick you anymore. See, this is representing this foolish energy. Fool in reverse, trickster. See, spiritually speaking, when I pick up on these kind of foolish trickster energies like this, if you could see how I am seeing their image show up on the spiritual plane, Leo, you'd be shocked, okay? These are the kinds of individuals that, yes, on the material plane, maybe some of them show up as very charismatic or very powerful, or maybe they're very good looking, male or female, take it as it fits. But there's something about them where they're able to hook, line, and sinker people in, right? But on the spiritual plane, it's like they look like a drooling, slithering kind of troll, right? It's like they have this very high-pitched, squeaky voice, right? And they just don't look the way that you actually perceive them in our physical reality. I've gotten to the point now where there's certain individuals where I can see past the facade, right? I can see past the mask that they wear on the material plane, and I can see the entities inside these people, right? And more often than not, people who show up in this way that I'm picking up here for you, Leo, in regards to this person, are by no means anything that you should be threatened of if you were to see them in the spirit. This person took a lot from you, Leo. This person stole your passion for life, and with that, obviously, your optimism. By all accounts, I feel that these individuals, whoever they are, for all of you out there, were trying to bring a slow, painful end to you. But this speaks about something much bigger, Leo. I quite often mention in my readings that why all the effort, right? Why all the focus on you? What is it that is so threatening about you that they need to go all in like this? And what I've come to learn, Leo, when I see people that are under this kind of spiritual attack, it's because of your path. There's something on your path that's very extraordinary. Some of you may have some hint of what this might be. Some of you may not know yet. And some of you are already working inside of this space. That's okay, no matter where you are on the journey. But what I'm picking up here is once you start to understand that there's something greater for you out there, and you have enough faith to meet the divine halfway and move on from this energy, things will start to be exposed to you. And again, this is something I can confirm to be true. Because you have to also understand, Leo, that there's only so much information that we can gain about our path when we're in the throes of these energies, so to speak, when they're in our energetic environment. Because there's a lot at stake here, right? If you knew what it was on your path that you were meant to head towards, you could quite possibly sabotage yourself if you were to leak out some of this information or speak about this in a space where this individual can hear you. That's why the exposure doesn't happen until you leave this energy behind. And for a lot of these people, they don't even know what they're doing. They're under demonic possession. And it's not hard to look at the world around us right now and really see how the universe is showing us how energy works, how possession works. They're starting to show us who is on what side, who is on your team, who is on the opposing team, who is the enemy here. We can see that all around us, and the only thing that is standing in the way of you accepting that is yourself. It's very hard to accept this when it's being illuminated to you. You don't want to think that it could quite possibly be family members or longtime friends or people that you're dating that are actually your mortal enemy that has been sent on your path to hold you back from your greatness. But Leo, these are all the people that the underworld will use, right? And you need to understand that these individuals make themselves a willing host for possession by the way they live their life and by the way they treat others, right? See, your behavior determines your vibration, okay? So if you're living a life that's out of accordance with the divine's will for your life, then your vibration is going to become very low, and you're going to make for an environmentally sound space for this demonic possession to come through and take over. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Hangman. Wow. Pisces energy at the solar plexus. So you're really being called right now, Leo, to start looking at things from this higher perspective, like we're speaking of here. There's a depth to this reading here that is really being highlighted, because everything that we're speaking about here in terms of vibration, behavioral patterns, the exposure that's happening worldwide, we can see who's who. We can see the demons, we can see the angels, period. That's the simplest way I can put this, okay? And your awareness of this and your trust in the divine, that what's being exposed to you is truth, is going to be crucial to your path moving forward, okay? Again, there seems to be an energy here that I'm picking up on where some of you out there are having a hard time accepting what's being exposed to you. It's almost as if you would rather accept that maybe your perception is off, or maybe there's something off with you. Maybe you feel like it is you, that you are the common denominator, right? It's wild how they can get you to do this. It's like you're willing to sacrifice yourself because you don't want to accept the truth about other individuals. And again, this is deep forms of psychological manipulation, Leo, okay? And the best way to try and overcome this, right, is to just get away, okay? Get away, clear your mind, see how you're feeling. And I think that what you'll start to understand, Leo, is that no, your perception is right on target, that you're not perceiving anything outside of the realms of your actual reality. You're seeing things for what they truly are. But the difference here is, because of this worldwide exposure, we're seeing details that we never noticed before, right? When you're so consumed by these energies and you don't give yourself enough space to breathe and think and to get away, you're being constantly bombarded, right? Your senses are just overloading, so you can't really see what's what. But this hangman at the solar plexus is speaking about your perspective being your superpower in these situations, however this may be showing up for you. It's time to let go, Leo. What's being exposed to you couldn't be any clearer, okay? And a lot of you have asked for this as well. You know, maybe some of you have been asking for clarity on your path, or you've been asking for help in certain areas of your life, but all of a sudden there's exposure around individuals in your life. You're like, I didn't ask for that. But the divine wants you to know, Leo, that that is the process to bringing forward what it is you want. Right? It makes perfect sense. You ask for one thing, but then a whole other thing unfolds, not even realizing the connection between the two, right? The exposure is what leads you down your path. That has to be exposed to you. The truth has to be exposed to you before that door can open, because there's acceptance there, right? That you need to find within self that the truth of your reality was not what you once thought it was. This really speaks about the world right now. I mean, all you have to do is really look around, especially people on the world stage, politics, things like this. It's just, well, it's like kabuki theater, right? It's wild what's going on. It's almost like, is this even real? How could this even be happening right now? You know, you think back to 20 or 30 years ago and it seems unimaginable, but the thing is, it's always been there, Leo. It just wasn't exposed to us in the way it is now, which goes back to what I said about the universe showing us, right? We can see the cracks in the paint now, but it's up to us to actually accept this, okay? You're not going crazy. Your perception of your environment isn't off. Be very careful of individuals who are telling you it is. What do we have at the heart, please? Oh, wow. Death card, Scorpio energy at the heart of the reading. Powerful spread here, Leo. So there's a massive transformation taking place in your life. Obviously, it goes without saying, but this is what this death card represents. It's a death to the old. This is just you leaving all of this stagnation and this old way of living behind, right? It's like living under a dark cloud that you never knew you were living under until you get away from it and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that the devil was breathing down my neck that entire time, right? Again, perspective, removing yourself from the situations, getting outside the fishbowl and seeing what's what, seeing the finer details in things. And that's exactly what this death card is representing in this reading. This is the energy that represents a phoenix rising, a rising out of the ashes from the past, a complete transformation of self, your circumstances, your life, however this shows up for you. There's big changes ahead, Leo, okay? And it's time to move on and step into this new timeline that's being offered up to you. It's here, and there's never been a better time than now. In fact, I feel that for most of you, this is really the first time that this kind of transformation has been offered to you in this capacity. You know, the awakening process is interesting in that we go through these kind of smaller awakenings and then bigger awakenings, right? It's almost like it can be likened to like an earthquake. There's tremors, then there's the big, huge earthquakes, right? It's like there's these little hints of exposure that take place in your life, Leo, or this has already happened. But now there's this big change, right? That's just up ahead. And this change is bringing with it a kind of timeline jump. And a timeline jump is best described as you shifting your perception around your reality, which has a way of creating a different environment around you, right? Timeline jumping is a shift in how you perceive your reality, which really speaks about how powerful of a manifester you are, Leo, how much you are being given access to here. But your faith and devotion in self is crucial, okay? It's very important that you don't allow any of these entities of the past that you're leaving behind to try and tell you who you are and what you should and shouldn't be thinking, right? Because when it comes to a transformation like this, they're going to go all in. They're going to use every tactic possible to try and hoodwink and bamboozle you to get you back in that cycle that you've graduated on from with them. What do we have at the throat? This is also speaking about, for those of you that are further down the timeline, right? It's speaking about you having this shift in perception now, right? You're starting to see now the finer details around your transformation. A lot of you could be thinking back to when your awakening started to take place, when the exposure started to take place, and there's different pieces of information that's being revealed to you that the divine held back, right? It would have just been too much for you to try and comprehend any sooner than now. So for those of you that are further down the path, that's what I feel you're going through, okay? There may even be messages that are about to come through for you that are going to allow you to start stepping into some new spaces. I'm not quite sure what that means just yet, Leo, but let's keep moving along here. I have the Judgment on the bottom of the deck. Wow. So more Scorpio energy, okay? And here we can see the eagle flying, right? The eagle soaring now, 3 of Wands. So 2 to the 3, and I was saying that this is Phoenix rising energy, and now we see the eagle, right? And I feel like this individual here is representing you on this previous timeline. You're becoming the eagle. It's like you're saying goodbye to this old version of yourself. And Judgment Pluto, Scorpio energy again, right? So this is also representing a rebirth. It's you receiving the call from the divine. And see how it's got this energy of the rapture, right? It's like they're being lifted up. I feel like this is you being lifted up to this new timeline, right? It's not literal, it's a shift in perception, vibration. What do we have at the throat? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. So, Wheel of Fortune at the throat, Sag energy. This is an exciting energy here, Leo. Okay, because for a lot of you, this is right there. This is not far off at all. Some of you may even be feeling the pre-shadow. It's like you feel this coming. You feel something preparing to unfold in your life. And the Wheel of Fortune, this is representing life cycles. It's also representing this big change that's taking place, right? It's just right up ahead. And as you can see here, the Wheel of Fortune is turned over the devil, right? It's like this is representing the person from the past. See, the Wheel of Fortune, a reading like this is the threshold, right? This is the portal opening up for you. It's like you're on the threshold, having a look at what's in front of you, right? What you're heading towards, but also feeling, I just heard, this is strange. I heard feeling the heat of the past on the back of your neck, right? So this can really speak about what I said in regards to the devil breathing down your neck. It's like you can feel it creeping up behind you. There's also a sense that this is allowing you again to really understand what it was you were dealing with. What do we have at the third eye, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the third eye? Perfect. Seven of Swords at the third eye. So further reiterating everything we're saying here about the exposure, right? You seeing things from this different perspective. You start to see people for who they really are, right? I mean, right here, the Hangman's all about perspective and perception, right? And as you could see right here, you're hanging upside down, but it's like you have this light bulb moment. You're like, oh, wait. From this angle, I can see all the detail. I see things in a way that I haven't seen it before, right? And it's like when you're in this energy, you're able to see this thief, right? And here they are, walking into the trap. See, this energy became so arrogant, playing around inside your energy, playing around inside your life. They didn't take the time to see what was coming for them, right? I mean, this individual here, they're not even looking in front of them. They're constantly looking back to see if you've noticed them, Leo, right? To see if they've gotten away with it. And by the smirk on their face, it seems like they've gotten away with this a lot, but not this time. Aquarius energy with this Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords, it's an energy of deception. It's something that's also done in the dark. It's not obvious, right? It's like something that was taking place without you even really knowing it. Because for a lot of you, you didn't even think twice about this energy. You didn't even think to take a second look, which can really speak about how close this energy may have been to some of you, right? You know, people that you don't really suspect would do something like this are the ones that are doing it. You know, the realization of what was taking place here can be met with a lot of frustration as well, obviously, Leo, because you start to think back, right, which may be where a lot of you are now, over these different points in your life, and you're like, so you mean to tell me I didn't accomplish that, or I didn't do that, or this didn't work out because that person was standing in my way, right? This is what's being illuminated to a lot of you now. You're starting to kind of put puzzle pieces together. You're starting to have these kind of moments of realization. I go through this all the time, you know, and I've been removed from these energies for years now, but there's always a new piece of information that I'm gifted with, because it's only really been now that I'm able to accept that piece of information that's given to me, right? And a lot of it comes down to your reaction to things. For me personally, if everything was exposed to me up front, years ago when I was disconnecting from these energies, I would have self-sabotage, right? I would have acted out, or I would have done something to try and defend myself, or maybe I would have done something to jeopardize where I'm at now. But now I've gotten to a point where not only am I not surprised, I'm just completely unreactive. Nothing phases me anymore. You may sense a lot of people around you still up to no good inside your energy, or trying to do sneaky things, and you just get to a point where you just don't care anymore, because you're so confident with your connection with Source, the divine. You have so much faith in God and Spirit that you know that everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to, because you are following the divine's will for your life. When you do this, when you step on your path without falter, there's literally nothing you need to worry about anymore. And this is something I always try to tell people, because it's hard to kind of understand that, right? And, based on my own experience, I totally get it. I didn't really understand that years ago. I do now. But it all comes down to us really having a game plan that the divine has for us. And when you start to realize this, and you start to move in accordance with what that might be, obviously, we can't know every detail, but we can get pretty close to the mark. When you start to move inside that space, you will be living in an entirely different reality and world, Leo, okay? Even with all the chaos and noise around us, it's something that's far removed from you. Yes, we still have to witness it. Yes, we still have to live inside this world and inside this matrix with all these different energies and all this crazy chaos going on, but you're not living in fear like the rest of the people, okay? Vibrationally speaking, you're above it. You just perceive things differently. Chaos may be all around you, but you certainly are not engaged in it. You are certainly not giving your energy to it, because you are starting to understand to give your energy to it is to relinquish the divine's will for your life. I have the Hierophant right on the bottom of the deck, okay, so representing the divine. What do we have at the crown? Three of Swords, Libra energy at the crown. This is speaking about what I mentioned earlier on in the reading, about a lot of you going through that healing process, right? It's one of the phases that you have to go through. This is really indicating, well, we have a heart here with three swords, right? So the swords have been removed, okay? And it's at that crown chakra, so it's speaking about the divine healing you from these wounds that you were subjected to in this previous cycle. I just heard you need to be very patient with yourself right now, Leo, okay? Just take it easy. Know that everything is okay. As long as you're in concert with the divine, like we're picking up here, you're all good. Your main focus right now should be on your connection with Source. If you can start to build a reality, build a life for yourself that is centered around your connection with the divine Source, God, or whoever you see as your supreme being, everything else will fall into place around that. And in due time, Leo, you will be living on this entirely new timeline that I'm picking up here for you, okay? And I'm not just saying this. This is tried and true, okay? This is very, very real. That's why I'm so passionate about reading, because everything I'm telling you here, I know you have access to. You just have to make it happen. That's it. Every single one of you is one idea away from success, however that looks in your life. And the most logical way of aligning with what that idea might be is by moving inside this energy, okay? All of a sudden, you'll just start getting downloads. You start dreaming about things, ideas you start to have. These are all a part of your mission statement. The divine's giving you your orders, and it's up to you to implement them in your waking life. When you step into these new timelines, Leo, it's like magic. There's really no other way of explaining it. It's as if you're living on a whole new timeline. Well, you are, essentially, but it's not so much material or physical. It's more in the mind, right? There's a sense of mind power there. What do we have at the foundation? Oh, again. Death. Twice. Lilith. Right? Opens the gates of death. Really goes back to what I said in regards to these energies. Like, what is their purpose in your life? Like, what is it they're trying to achieve? And what it comes down to, Leo, is trying to get you out of here as quickly as possible, right? However that looks. You know, the devil works in a very incremental way. So the devil's very patient. He'll just chip away slowly at you, right? Until there's nothing left of you. Okay, now this can show up differently for just about everybody, okay? But it all comes down to a breaking down of you, breaking down your sense of self, right? See, the devil wants to get you to self-sabotage. We live in a world that is built to get all of us to self-sabotage, whether it's through lust, whether it's through greed, etc., etc. One of these 7 deadly sins is constantly bombarding us to get us to step out of the divine's will for our life. And this death card is read differently from this, right? This is essentially read in its negative polarity. So it's the opposite from this transformative energy that's coming in at the heart. And there's also this connection here, right? So 3 of Swords being pulled out of your heart, right? So there's a transformation taking place around the heart chakra. So heart chakra healing, which is an energy of you releasing any sort of past bitterness or resentment so you can move forward without any baggage into this new timeline. But then with this death card at the foundation of the reading underneath this Fool in reverse is showing us very clearly the stagnation and the resistance that these energies have purposely been putting on your path. And again, the gaslighting is just of epic proportions here, because these are individuals that do things behind the scenes, right? And then gaslight you into making you think that you've done it, right? It's like somebody arranging things without your knowledge, which causes you to not get something, maybe an opportunity. And then the way it shows up for you is that you didn't have what it takes, or you took a misstep or something like this, right? I mean, this is just absurd forms of psychological manipulation. People playing God in your life, but extensions of the devil. And this death card and this Fool in reverse, they read the same. It's a completely stuck energy. It's an energy of inertia, just complete apathy towards life, right? Like I said earlier on in the reading, taking your passion for life away from you, robbing you of your optimism, right? It's like an energy where they want you to exist in the space of, what's it all for anyway? What's the point of any of this? It's a dangerous space to be in, Leo. And I know, because I was there years and years ago. I remember feeling that way. What's the point of all this? Why do I have to suffer like this? Right? And all I can tell you is, Leo, your suffering is a result of these outside energies and you allowing them to have access to you, okay? Because for most of you, this is coming from some sort of outward energy. That's why it's so important to give yourself the time and space to disconnect, see what's what, see how the land lies, right? I did this. I slowly removed individuals from my life one by one. I noticed a little bit of improvement, but nothing that was life-changing. And then after I had removed just about everybody, with the exception of a couple of people, I started to realize that it was that last couple of people, right? The people that were essentially closest to me. I removed them from my life, or I removed myself from their life, rather, and boom. The floodgates open, Leo. Everything shifted. And for me, it was like practically overnight. But all honesty, it was about 6 months. My life looked completely different. And when it comes to these sorts of transformations and this kind of awakening, 6 months is very much overnight, because we all know how fast 6 months goes by. So in saying all that, Leo, there's a reason why I mentioned that, okay? So it may just be that what's holding you back is right underneath your nose, Leo, or right in front of you. And I have the tower on the bottom of the deck, and this particular tower is red in its negative polarity, so it's an energy that is trying to avoid change, right? No, it can't be that person. It can't be my mother. It can't be my sister, right? All of that, whoever that is for you. Okay, too many cards. What do we got there? High Priestess, Danteline, King of Swords. Yeah, there's an energy here that is trying to intercept your connection with Source, the divine. 10 of Swords, Gemini energy at the sacral. Unbelievable. This just followed everything we just said. This is an energy of betrayal. It's also an energy that is trying to get you to self-sabotage or self-sacrifice. It can also represent an energy of being backstabbed. See, the whole purpose of the devil is to try and make a victim out of you. Once he's made a victim out of you, all hope is gone, so to speak, right? That's why you must not let anybody victimize you. Now, there's different types of victimization. Sometimes you don't even have a choice in the matter, right? Somebody does something to you and you're a victim of that person's negative behavior or whatever they did to you, right? But you don't have to allow it to stop you in your tracks, okay? You don't have to allow it to be some sort of dark passenger that you carry with you down your path that colors your experience, right? This can speak about that heart chakra healing, holding on to bitterness or resentment from the past, which is all under that umbrella of victimization. When you hold on to that kind of energy, you're closing yourself off to other opportunities that may want to make their way into your life. So you're giving that energy a win. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. 5 of Pentacles, Taurus energy. Samigan. So this 5 of Pentacles, this is the energy of a poverty mindset, a lack mentality, right? Which, again, falls under the umbrella of victimization. It's all working in tandem to keep you in this space. See, this is what's being illuminated to you. You're like, wait a second. I see it now. See, it's all about just running you out of here, running you out of time, running you out of faith, running you out of optimism, running you out of passion, and draining you of the divine life force that runs through you, Leo. Okay? The other day I was thinking about how there's this eternal war between man and man, right? It's so wild to me when I think about this, like trying to wrap my mind around the fact that man's worst enemy is man. Like, why? Why is there this eternal war? But then when you start to understand really where it all began, Leo, it starts to kind of come into focus, right? And depending on how deep of a thinker you are, Leo, I know it can be hard to take all of this that you may be going through all the way back to the beginning, right? when Lucifer revolted against God, right? This is really where it all started, because everything that you're going through right now is a micronized version of that. All of us are going through something similar in some capacity. The story's been changed, the details are a little different, but energetically speaking, it all comes down to somebody telling you that they're better than you, that you don't deserve this, that, and the other, that you don't deserve to be happy. And I think that the best way for us to really compartmentalize all of this, because now I'm getting very deep, is under these 7 deadly sins, right? This is really what it comes down to. It's so crucial that we understand this, because it helps you to navigate your path when you have a higher understanding of how energy works, and you understand the sins by which man can find himself in a certain form of spiritual bondage. Oh, I feel like I really trailed off there, Leo. But it needed to be said. I just got the chills. Because now I know why it needed to be said. 5 of Wands. Leo energy. Aegirus. Look what it says. Immorality, right? Speaks about everything I just mentioned. Man's worst enemy is man, because there's a difference in morals. There's those that follow the divine's will for our life, and then there's those that follow the alternative path, the inverted path, that are constructed around the 7 deadly sins. And this is exactly what I'm getting here with this 5 of Wands. This 5 of Wands is speaking about these individuals trying to do things to get you to act out, so you self-sabotage and end up shooting yourself in the foot, right? It's an energy of obstacles and challenges that they place on your path to make you think that there's something wrong with the way you're moving. Now more than ever, Leo, you need to get really focused on the path ahead. You need to really work on your connection with Source. You need to release any sort of energies from your life that we may be picking up on here, right? This resistance, this opposing force, this has all got to go. You just merely entertaining these energies is giving them a win. Okay? And then we have Jaleel, Aries energy, 2 of Wands again, so we have it twice now. Okay, but these are read a little bit different. This 2 of Wands, whenever I get this card, it's so interesting because it's like you're looking back, but you're holding your wrist, right? And this speaks about what I said. It's like you're on this new timeline, and reality is just kind of magical. You start to see things in a way you haven't before. You're like, is this even real? What is going on here? This also speaks about what I mentioned about everything we're seeing in the world around us right now. Like, what is all of this? It's like you're holding your pulse and you're looking back like, what the hell am I even looking at? I can't even believe what I was a part of. The world has gone crazy. Right? This is what this energy is representing to me right now. But despite what is going on in the world around us right now, Leo, and what you have gone through with these other individuals, you must stay very focused on the path ahead. And that's also what this 2 of Wands is representing, okay? This is you making your plans for the future based on this new way that you're moving, right? This Phoenix rising from the ashes energy. You've been rebirthed into this new timeline, and now you're making plans based off of this new sense of hope that you have. This strengthened faith that you are now nurturing with the divine. What do we have at the throat, please? 4 of Swords, Libra energy, A'el at the throat. The God of Trinity. Mission. Protects against slander and impious people. So confirming what I'm saying here. See, there's also this energy here of contemplation. That's what the Four of Swords also means, right? It's like you're thinking back. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe it, right? But you have your wings now. And even though this is Libra energy, you're laying on this lion and it's outlined in red, which is representing, well, for me, when I see this card, it's like Leo is mixed into this Libra energy here. It's like this energy is what is allowing you to have the strength and courage and fortitude to push forward, right? And this is what's on the other side of this Wheel of Fortune. See, we're seeing here very clearly you on the other side of this. You reflecting back, you looking back. And I have the sun on the bottom of the deck, and it says right there, restoration of life. And that's your energy there. What do we have at the third eye? The sun being the most high vibrational card in the tarot. Okay, so that's where you're going, Leo. It's representing the highest vibrational version of yourself, right? And this right here is shadow Leo energy. Okay, so it's like they're trying to bring this out in you, so you self-sabotage. See, when you start to understand how this works, Leo, you'll start to notice that there was always this sense that they were trying to bring out the worst in you. So be very mindful of what people bring out of you when you're around them. Do people bring out the best version of you by their treatment towards you, or do they bring out the worst version of you? Okay? It sounds simple enough, but a lot of times we give passes for things like this because we think that it's something wrong with us. No, Leo, it's not, okay? You're just picking up on this energy, and it's causing you to act out in a way that's outside of your character, okay? What do we have at the third eye, please? 10 of Wands, Sag energy at the third eye. Nanuel, God humiliating the proud. Spiritual communication influences religious men, teachers, and men of law. Okay, so this 10 of Wands here is really speaking about you finally saying no. It's an energy of freedom. Okay, you're no longer carrying the burdens of the past, which aren't even yours anyway. Okay, and a lot of this realization is surrounding this. You're like, oh my God, I mean, and a lot of you are beginning to understand that all of these burdens you've been holding on to, all of this baggage you've been carrying, didn't even belong to you. A lot of you were born into families between individuals, right, that just unloaded all this unnecessary baggage onto you. And you've been carrying a lot of this around with you your entire life, not really knowing it doesn't belong to you. I mean, this is called generational karma. Okay, so and now we're opening up another door here, Leo, because I'm starting to pick up on some black sheep kind of energy, which makes perfect sense that you've had to go through this, because this is the path of the black sheep. This is somebody who is chosen and hand-selected by the divine to come down here and transmute the energy inside of this karmic cycle. What do we have at the crown to close out, Leo, please? Knight of Wands, Ha'uia. Aries, Leo, Sag energy. God the good in himself. Protection, prevents discovery of secret crimes, saves exiles. Okay, so whenever I get this card, that phrasing is very interesting because it says protects discovery of secret crimes. And what we've been picking up in this reading is that there's things that have been taking place in the dark, behind your back, in secret, so to speak. So where you're going, this energy, right, whatever this represents to you in your life, can no longer touch you. You can't be affected by these kinds of energies anymore because you've done the healing and you've moved on. And this card, you can see here, you have this giant shield of God around you because you've stepped onto your path. You've completed this cycle, this mission, so to speak. And now you're on to the next timeline. This has been a really exciting, fun, deep reading, and I certainly hope that I was able to provide you with something useful and empowering to you on your path. Leo, this is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations, Leo. Take care.